Hey, so this is Laila with Yoga Without Filters, and we're doing a little tarot read today from the Magical Unicorns Oracle deck. And so for this read, I went ahead and pulled 3 cards for you. And we have 1, 2, and 3. So the third card there. You see that I've also placed a specific stone that I felt resonated with the energy of the card. So I ask you today for your read, you can go ahead and intuit right now which card you feel drawn to or you resonate to. So either the first card, second, or third. If you also feel drawn to a particular stone, we have any calcite, fossilized palmstone, and sodalite for number 3. Or you may even feel drawn to a particular time signature on this video. So however you feel drawn to intuit what card is for you, take a moment now and we'll get started in a sec. So first card, let go of stress. Don't take on other people's stress. Breathe it out now. Like it's really easy to get overwhelmed by seems like pretty much everything right now. Sometimes even just getting out of bed can be kind of stressful, but it is important that even amongst all of this, that where our mind goes, our energy flows, where our heart goes, our energy flows. And if we're constantly ruminating about stress, it can be quite hard to, or challenging to see what's around us. And here I am seeing that there is actually a lot of beautiful abundance around, around you, and support as well. It's almost like the universe wants to support you, but a huge part of being able to receive that support and that love and that abundance is taking yourself out of that mindset. Even if it's just shifting the focus, even if it's just like a thought, like recognizing it maybe as a negative thought, or oh shit, I'm I'm stressing about something. Even if it's just changing your activity, do something different. Just try to shift the mindset. Like I said, even for a few minutes, go read a short story. Go for take a quick breath of fresh air safely outside. Just different things. Connect with something that brings you joy. A cup of tea, hug from a loved one, whatever you can, wherever you are in your life. And not to deny that there is stress in your life or going on within or around you, but it's okay to be light as well. We don't have to take it all in now. Second card, talk about your feelings. Tell a friend how you feel. And mental health is a thing, and so often I think especially in Western society, we don't talk about things, and that can actually further induce those feelings of isolation and further induce one of those toxic patterns. And if there is someone that you feel safe or comfortable talking to, maybe a friend or loved one, or even if you don't feel like you have those people that you can reach out to, or have anyone, even if it's literally your pet. I love this. I love the imagery on this card in particular. I feel like this horse is talking to the cat, and the cat is like, I feel you. Sometimes literally just talking to a pet, or even a plant, or a tree, or even just journaling something. The point is in that talking, in that expression, in that release of expressing those feelings, we actually find that we're not holding, those thoughts or those feelings as heavy. Just to get them out, kind of like a purging, uh, in a sense, even if you don't quite know what those feelings are. Literally, like I'm seeing, writing down or even just like screaming into a pillow, um, that holding on to those feelings, that it's causing further destruction. So any way you can get it out, not to numb, for example, but to actually get it out in healthy and constructive ways. That expression and that exchange of getting it out will kind of help you feel later. Especially with, like, seeing the clouds in this particular card. I'm seeing this just like, clouds aren't forever. They're constantly moving. They're changing. They're evaporating. And that's kind of like our feelings too. They're constantly evolving. They're changing. They're shifting. And it's like, as we talk about them, we kind of let them dissipate and clear, um, so that it's okay. Find ways that make sense to you in a way that feels safe for you to talk about it or journal about it. Um, yeah, exchange and express. Um, yeah. Third card, happy thoughts. I'm like, do we need all three of these cards for everyone? Um, happy thoughts. Um, the card says, to feel happier now, think about a memory of something else that makes you smile. And it's important to note that when we're thinking happy thoughts, we're not discrediting, again, the things or denying the things that are going on within us and around us. But I feel like especially it can be tempting to get so caught up, or we just so easily get paralyzed, by these thoughts or this overwhelm. And that, when we're constantly focusing on kind of the negative, the destruction, the overwhelm, that's kind of all we're seeing. So I feel like this is very much like a forest through the trees kind of card, or in this specific case with the imagery, it's like this magical being, this unicorn, is looking out over these thoughts. And what's interesting about these clouds is that these clouds are not saying, we're bad or we're good, kind of like our thoughts, neither good nor bad. They're just kind of there. And sometimes if we can even just sit with that notion, thoughts, kind of like clouds again, they dissipate, they're ever changing. And so even if, that happiness or those thoughts seem far off in the distance, kind of like that beautiful, sun, that the light is maybe a little bit farther ahead than we like. Look how the sun, how those kind of focus on the light illuminates all those other clouds. And even again, recognizing, maybe some darkness, within those clouds, that they can be illuminated, they can be shifted, they can be changed. And you'll see as well, even the beautiful imagery of the cards here, is that the path leading up to this gorgeous palace, the whole path is illuminated the whole way, but it's one step at a time. It may not feel like the most direct path at times, but I feel like this imagery is encouraging us that, continue along this path, one happy thought, one step at a time, that, there will be this kind of this peace, this respite, this shelter for us. And you just remember again that it is okay to have happy thoughts, and to embrace those, even if we don't fully feel happy. Maybe just go back to maybe a particular memory or a thought, or maybe even just like a funny joke, maybe a funny show or moment or video or book, or just something that brings a smile to your face, even if it's just an image of something, or maybe your happy place, whatever that is. And if you don't know, maybe it's time to visualize what that is, what that means for you, what that might look like or feel like for you. Yeah. So this last card, Love Heals Fear, was pulled with the intention, this card is for everyone. It's a really interesting theme over all three of the first cards, and I think it just goes part and parcel to so much of what is going on within the world, around us, other countries, in our own country, even with ourselves in our life. And you take it as you will. I think sometimes this phrase that love heals fear can be kind of glossed over, but really the focus here is focusing on the love, and that, similar to some of the themes that we talked about, some of the other cards, is like what we focus on is really where our energy, where our direction will be pointed, kind of like a compass, right? It aligns itself to that focus and the direction of where we need to go. And so with the intention of healing or moving past that fear. So we don't want to stay stuck in that fear. And there's definitely a time and a place where that helps us to survive. But if we have any hopes of surviving, we need to learn the tools or the steps or the methodologies in which to heal that. And it really does come down to love, not only for ourselves and honoring our self-care, honoring and recognizing, what are the things, what are the triggers that bring up or trigger fear in us, maybe internally, externally. But also too, with this card, I'm really picking up with the imagery especially, is viewing people as other, as something so different from one another. And really you could say in this image, who is fearing whom. We have our own projections of what another might be. In this case, just saying for the obvious example of like a unicorn perhaps fearing this cougar, us knowing these kind of labels or kind of projections that we put on this cat. But one could also argue as well, perhaps the cougar is fearing this unicorn. I mean, it's much taller. It's kind of in this stance of charging forward, this horn, being so close to the cougar's face, and the unicorn just being locked in, into those cougar's eyes. It's perception, right? One is not the kind of catalyst for the other, but really when we look and see, the rest of the imagery, is that you can coexist together, and that love and fear are kind of like these ebb and flowing tides. Again, seen in that imagery of being right along the shore, that there are times in our life where we're more fearful. There's times in our life where we need more love, and there is that balance. It's kind of a give and take, and the more we can learn that it's constant. It's not really stagnant, but that things can and do move. That actually through that acknowledgement, and even just not seeing somebody else as another, as an opposing, but rather perhaps as an ally, being less afraid really changes our approach to things. And that change in approach can genuinely affect the outcome. So
focusing on that love, especially when we get scared or paralyzed. Are we running from our fears? Are we paralyzed in our fears? That kind of fight or flight mode. And the more conscious we become of that, and in fact, the more awareness we can have and understanding that there are times when we do have a choice in that, and again, how we want to direct that energy and transmute that energy and move closer towards healing rather than that fear.
So thanks so much for listening, and look forward to next time.